Hello, Beatriz. Good afternoon.
Hello.
So
Good
nice,
afternoon.
so nice to see you again. I know just to reconnect with you is a great opportunity. I know we worked together before the holidays, and I'm really excited to hear what you've been doing since and what you thought about the training that we did together at the Werklund School of Education. So let Beatriz tell you a little bit about herself in a moment, but I just want to introduce her and let you know that Beatriz is student representative of the graduate in the graduate programs at the Werklund School of Education at the University of Calgary. And so we're just going to have a conversation today. I have a few questions to ask Beatriz about restorative practices and just to talk about what she learned and what she's hoping to do with the sessions that we had together. So welcome. I'm excited to hear what you have to say, and I'll let you start by giving a little bit of about your personal and professional background, and then maybe you could tell us what led you to restorative practices.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Pam. So I am currently a third-year PhD student at the Werklund School of Education here at the University of Calgary. And well, my research is about academic integrity, educational leaders in Latin America. I am trying to knit connections between leadership roles, the scholarship of teaching and learning, and academic integrity. So that's one of my main interests now from a research point of view. And I also have a role as a student representative, just as you said, in the graduate programs, in the Education Student Association. I am a student from the Leadership, Policy, and Governance educational area. And this is the group I represent as a student. So this is what I could share about me right now.
Okay, thank you. Can you let us know what led you to restorative practices? How did you come upon IIRP, and what led you to sign up for some sessions?
Well, so before the year 2022, I didn't. Restorative practices was not part of my background or prior knowledge at all. So early in 2022, the non-academic misconduct working group from the Werklund School of Education invited me to be a research assistant in a project that they were implementing. This group at the time was led by Dr. Sarah Eden, who's my supervisor. She is an expert in academic integrity, a well-renowned expert. And she told me, would you like to be a research assistant in this project? And I was happy because it was my first experience performing that role in the school. And so when I started attending the meetings, I realized that all group members were deeply interested in exploring alternative ways of conflict resolution, and restorative practices was a key element in those conversations. So as part of my role, I also had to help coordinating the implementation of a restorative practices training with the International Institute of Restorative Practices. And that's when the magic started. So, well, this training, the first one started in March 2022. And the working group at the time made an invitation to all faculties, graduate students, staff members from the Werklund School of Education. So there were different kinds of participants. There were about 20 people in the group. And so I realized that other executive members from these graduate programs in Education and Student Association were part of this training. And so, and actually one of those executive members was also a member of this non-academic misconduct working group. So we started having conversations on the side about this training because we became deeply interested in restorative practices, and we started realizing that it could make a significant impact in our school. So, the person who was part of this academic misconduct working group was Lily Jardine. She was the co-president of this student organization, and also Elita Laios, who's also another student. She was also part of these conversations, and we started thinking we should do more. We need more students involved here. So, because we identified a very good opportunity here with restorative practices, because it provided a framework that could guide our thinking and practices towards a more community-oriented perspective. And especially during the pandemic, we were in that very difficult scenario last year. We felt it was important because we also realized that the pandemic had hurt human connections as we knew them. We would hear stories from previous students associations, and they would like meet with people and have parties or have conversations after class because they had in-person programs, but we were those cohorts that couldn't have those in-person programs. So we felt that we needed more human connection. We finished that training on March 2022. And right after that, the three of us started writing a proposal for the Quality Money grant for the Graduate Student Association, which is like the higher level student organization. And our proposal was accepted. And so we had the chance to get in touch again with the International Institute of Restorative Practices. And we were able to provide again the conditions for a new training, but this time it was meant for graduate students. This is how it all started. It's a long story, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for that background. And I think it's good for other people to know sort of how it got started, and how many people were in that group of graduate students that had the instruction.
21 students, and it was like they were all deeply interested. They participated actively, and so yes, that's how it all started. And actually, all of them already received their certificates last year. They were so happy. The feedback for that activity was extremely positive.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So what are you planning to do with this with the restorative practices after the training? Have you had the opportunity to implement it, or is there anything you'd like to share about that?
Well, I am currently a member of a restorative practice community here at the Werklund School of Education, and it all started as a spin-off of the training that we organized last year, the one in November, only for graduate students. Well, a group said, okay, we have to continue these conversations, we have to meet, and so we started, and so, well, now the community of practice has about 10 members. We started meeting in January this year. We are still setting our priorities as a group, and our main intention is to exchange our insights into how restorative practices could inform what we do when we teach and also when we carry out research. In these dialogues, we also include examples from our professional, academic, and personal life. And it has become a great space where we know that we are there for each other, and we know it is a safe and caring space. It's been a wonderful experience. Besides this involvement, I have also informed my reflections on my personal life, professional and academic as well, with restorative practices, because I feel that they have taught me to become aware of my emotions and realize that sometimes it's better to step down, seek to intervene less, hear more, actively listen to others, focus on ways I can approach situations in a more collaborative way, trying to move away from imposition or lack of action. So in a way, to me, learning to use restorative practices, it's a lot like learning how to dance. The only difference is that it's dancing with your head somehow.
Oh.
So, but yes, this is what I can share so far.
Thank you. I've never heard that analogy before. That's really interesting. And I think it is really amazing when, you know, you're starting to learn about the framework and you begin to practice it and you start go on this journey, restorative practices, you realize how useful it is, not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life. Because I think if we truly live that central blueprint with our closest relationships in our community, we can make a real difference. And I agree that attentive listening part is difficult sometimes, but it's always good to remind yourself to listen to understand first. Okay, well, thank you. And what about the future? What are your hopes for the future, either in your setting at the University of Calgary or in your personal life or whatever you'd like to share?
Well, so in relation to all the spaces I interact daily, like my family, friends, colleagues, superiors, everyone, I think that more people should be aware of restorative practices and the frameworks supporting them. For this reason, my hope for the future is that more people could have access to this information because I know it can change life, because it is an approach that builds from a deep understanding of what makes us human. It highlights our need for connection while also attending to the emotional weight that some life experiences give us. We're human, we make mistakes, we are complex, but still we want to be recognized, we want to be accepted, we thrive for those things, but it's complicated. And this gives you a lens to understand human relationships. So, and I think it's also a compassionate approach that we need right here, right now, especially after a pandemic. We have endured so much in the last few years, and now it's the time to see the future with hope. And I'm sure that restorative practices can provide a sustainable approach to fit this purpose. So these are my hopes.
Well, thank you. What a great way to end this conversation with your hopes. And it's been great speaking with you. And hopefully we'll be able to stay connected and accompany you along on this journey. Sounds like so many wonderful things are happening. It's been a pleasure. And I should let you go. It's Valentine's Day. You probably have some plans tonight, but it was wonderful speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. And what a suitable day to talk about restorative practices, because it's a day when we celebrate love. So what could be best?
That's right. Thank you.